So North Carolina is arguably the most gerrymandered state in the entire country, and one of the most common questions we get here is what can we possibly do about it? First, it's important to understand some basic facts. We use different election maps for both chambers of our state legislature and for North Carolina's members of Congress. Republican lawmakers in our state legislature have drawn all those maps, and they've drawn most of them to make it impossible for them to lose. That's why we call those election maps rigged. So because of those rigged election districts, Republicans have held complete control of North Carolina state legislature for the last 14 years running, meaning they've written every law, every budget, and drawn every election map in that time. The reason a lot of our election maps in North Carolina look so bizarre is because they've been drawn to give a Republican candidate a big artificial advantage. 85% of the state legislative districts across the state are drawn to be non-competitive, meaning they're totally safe for one party or the other. So there are basically three ways to fix this problem. First, Congress could just pass a law saying you couldn't gerrymander election districts, or at least setting out some basic guardrails around it. Democrats actually tried to pass that bill in 2021, but Republicans filibustered it in the US Senate. So alternatively, what many states have done is pass a state constitutional amendment that sets up an independent redistricting committee that takes the power to draw election maps out of politicians' hands entirely. But politicians who rely on gerrymandering to get elected obviously don't want to do that, and because of gerrymandering, voters can't really force them, so that's not really going to work for us. The last option is probably the most realistic for us in North Carolina, and that is to elect judges to our state Supreme Court who will strike down rigged maps. Our state Supreme Court is the only body with the authority to overrule the state legislature and strike down their gerrymandered maps as unconstitutional. They can basically force the legislature to draw fair maps and hold elections on them. Checks and balances, baby. Statewide elections, like those for the state Supreme Court, cannot be gerrymandered. But Republicans currently hold a majority in North Carolina State Supreme Court where they have upheld partisan gerrymandering. So if voters don't like that, they have to elect new judges who will oppose it. This process also played out in Wisconsin. They had incredibly gerrymandered maps until voters elected a state Supreme Court majority who struck them down. So here's what you can do. First, get involved in your local political party. Either sign up for news or better yet, go in person. Support candidates for office who stand for fair maps, especially in judicial elections. Pay attention to what's happening in Raleigh and learn more about this issue. The more you learn, the less powerless you'll feel. Whatever you do, don't turn off and tune out. That's what the bad guys want. Democracy only matters if your vote matters, so fight for it with everything you have.